Hi everyone, I'm Tim Lin, Product Manager in QNAP. I'm proud and be happy to introduce the new QTS 5.1.0. This version of QTS will surround the two major topics, which is efficiency and security. And for efficiency, we will talk about the SMB multichannel and for managing the multiple system AMIZ cloud and some handy tools, the improvement in file station and an NFS setup and AI support. For security, we will talk about the SMB GMAC signing and the new Authenticator app for 2FA and Passwordless, and also account management in Delegated Administration. For system security to protect your data, we will have the predictive migration and the improvements on the drive analyzer for disk health. Let's take a look. Firstly, we will talk about the SMB multichannel. For the new QNAP NAS, the basic setup, we will equip with the 2.5 gigabits ports. So it's no longer the old 1 gigabit network. Furthermore, with SMB multichannel, we can expect 2 times like 5 gigabits, even 4 times 10 gigabits, etc. As long as it has the proper equipment. For example, if we have only 2.5 gigabits, the performance we can reach is 290 something for rewrite. With 2 ports and SMB multichannel, we can reach 590 per second. Compared with the 1 giga network, usually you will have like 120 something performance. It's almost like 5 times. So what is SMB multichannel? It automatically establishes multiple connection. It's like to ship the goods to destination. Without multi-channel, it has only 1 truck and 1 truck to ship the good. If the track or route has some problem, and then we cannot ship to the destination. However, for multi-channel, it established more than 1 track. Firstly, it can have like 2 trucks to transport the goods. Even if 1 track has problem, we still have another track to keep working on the shipment. We can observe these statistics. We use the 10 gigabits network adapter with 4 ports, 4 cables. So firstly, it has the performance with 4,000 or 4 gigabits performance. Now we plug out 1 cable. Without any disconnection, it only have some performance drop from 4,000 to 3,000. The network continue. And we plug out another one and another one. So when we only have 1 cable connected, we still have 1,000 gigabit, 1 gigabit connection, and we connect back the cable 1 by 1, and eventually it reaches the 4,000 gigabits. That's the network fault tolerance we can see for SMB multi-channel feature. And we think of another feature is port trunking or link aggregation, or we call it LACP. We cannot use them at the same time. We can either use SMB multichannel or link aggregation. To compare them, SMB multichannel does not need special equipment. However, for port trunking, we need a special network adapter or switch comply the IEEE 802.3AD standard. So we needed special equipment for port trunking. And SMB multichannel, of course, is for SMB only. And the link aggregation can work for different protocols. And the SMB multichannel has the fault tolerance because we have more than one cable. And for link aggregation also have a fault tolerance. However, SMB multichannel can apply the multiple connection at the same time with one session, and port trunking can only reach its original maximum performance. So SMB multichannel will multiply the bandwidth, which port trunking cannot. Take an example with the scenario in video editing. In video editing, we usually have a workflow we come and see. Firstly, ingest all the raw assets into the storage, and then share to the different editor to do the post-production, post-editing. And while the editors waiting for the ingestion, if we have faster ingestion, then we don't need to wait for long. For example, if we have a 25 gigabit network and it has 2 ports, so with the SMB multichannel, it will have 50 gigabits performance. It will be 5 times up 10 gigabits for sure. And then when the raw assets are ready, all of the clients can connect to the storage and to do the editing. And why not all of the clients use the multi-channel? We can, if the performance accept. It depends on the NAS, CPU, memory, and storage performance, and also the client CPU, memory, and network. So we can enable from the control panel. We can check the enable SMB multichannel, and we don't need to configure each client because it will automatically, based on the current connection, to configure the best combination. As I mentioned, to reach the best performance, we need the good CPU, storage, memory, and I/O controller. So if you need the best performance, I will suggest the all-flash NAS, or your network is using direct cable. Because if you switch in between, then the connection will be competed among the different clients. If the client has a better performance, because the SMB multichannel is a software mechanism, it will respond to whichever producer request. So if you want to the best performance, we suggest to use direct cable connection. To remind that SMB multichannel currently support clients with Windows 8.1 or later, or Windows Server 2012 or later, or Mac OS Big Sur 11.3.1 or later. And both NAS and clients need to be configured to use SMB3. The current version of the SMB multichannel in QTS does not support ISS, RDMA, or NIC teaming. Now I'd like to introduce a feature about SMB signing. SMB signing is to sign network packet with a digital signature so that the client and server can confirm authenticity and prevent hacking. SMB signing is not new, and we used the SMB signing before, but all the algorithm, it requires heavy calculation and will impact the performance a lot. And now QTS 5.1.0 will automatically negotiate the better performing cipher method, which is supported by Windows Server 2022 and Windows 11. We can see the difference between the old algorithm and the new algorithm. For x86 platform, with 10 gigabits network, if we use the old algorithm, it will be impact. It's usable, but still impact. And this is 10 gigabits. You can think of if your speed is lower than 10 gigabits, you will be suffer more. On the other hand, with the new GMAC algorithm, you can see the statistics. It's not affected by the signing at all. It almost reached the maximum performance of the 10 gigabits network. That's for x86 platform. If we see the ARM64, yeah, what you see is right. With 10 gigabits network for all the algorithm, you see only 67 megabits per second. You can barely use that for your 10 giga demand. But with GMAC, the new algorithm, it's not as good as the x86 platform, but it's usable. Especially for enterprise environment, if we have a very strict security policy, now ARM64 can join the team to work with the more secure environment. It will be configured in the control panel. And how do we trigger the SMB signing? It depends on the server configuration and client configuration. So only when server does not require signing and client does not require signing, meaning both server and client don't require signing, then it will not sign. Otherwise, if there is either server side or client side require signing, it will be signed. That's the improvement on the SMB signing. About authentication, we all know password credential might not be good enough. QTS 5.1.0 now introduced the QNAP Authenticator app to achieve two-factor authentication and passwordless mechanism. For two-step verification or two-factor authentication, firstly, the first step or first factor is password credential. So you still need to enter your password. And for second factor or second step, you need to use one of the following way. The first one is the security code, TOTP, time-based one-time password. So after you log in with your password, the NAS will request you input several digits, which is presented in your Authenticator app, and then you can log in. That's one common option. And the following three requires the authenticator need to be able to reach NAS by network, either by the Wi-Fi or by my QNAP cloud link through internet. So when the first step password has passed, then you can choose to use QR code or login approval or online verification code present on your authentication app to continue the login. That's for the two-step verification. On the other hand, if two-step verification is not necessary, for example, you have enough protection from the outer network, and for NAS, you don't worry about two-step verification. You are in the internet already, or LAN already, and you can use passwordless feature so that you don't need to memorize the password. And QNAP Authenticator app provide two kinds of passwordless method. One is the login approval. You just firstly in the NAS type your account name, and your authenticator will show a button for you to accept, then you log in. Otherwise, the NAS will show a QR code, and you use your mobile to take a shot, then you can log in. We configure these two-step verification or passwordless login in the account name under the section of the login and the security. And it will pop up a menu requesting to input the recovery email. Just to remember, if you want the system to send the recovery email, the QTS should log in with the QNAP ID, or the SMTP service should be enabled under the QNAP notification center. With a quick glance, on the left is a screenshot of the mobile device. It's a mobile phone. It's an app of QNAP Authenticator. On the right is a screenshot of the screen capture of the NAS. So firstly, the NAS will show a QR code, and you use the authenticator on the left to take a shot, and then on the right, the NAS will log in. This is for QR code. On the other hand, login approval is similar. Firstly, you try to log in, you type your account name, and then you will show four digits, and on your authenticator, it will show the same number to let you see if it's the same NAS. You accept with pressing the button on the app, then your NAS will be logged in. Let me demonstrate how to configure the login method. Here under the account name, we find the login and security, and there are different ways. Two-step verification, it will include password credential and the other method. But I will just demonstrate the passwordless login. Here it will ask you to input the required recovery email, and to remember that you must either log in with the QID for the listeners or enable the SMTP service on notification center. Then let's get started. And actually, it asks your credential to make sure you are the owner of this account. Okay, and there are two methods for passwordless login. Here, for QR code, it will just show the QR code for the authenticator to take a shot. Here I will demonstrate the login approval is even easier. So I click login approval, and now it reminds you to download the QNAP Authenticator. It's already released to the App Store and the Android Google Play. So the next step is to pair the NAS with your Authenticator. It will show a QR code, and in the mobile phone, you open the Authenticator app and click add a new NAS account. It will show a camera screen, and you take a shot of the QR code on the NAS. Then the NAS will present a set of number for your authenticator to know is to pair this NAS. So you on the Authenticator app, you click accept it. Now I have enabled the passwordless of the login approval. Let's have a try. Let me log out from this account. And I want to log in. First, I type the account name. And because it's a login approval, so on the app, it will have a message and showing the same number 5787 here to show that if we want to log in this NAS on the authentication app, we just click a button, accept this login. Then it will log in as perfect. The next topic is about the delegated administration. It looks like to improve the efficiency of the organization by different roles. Actually, this is a feature related to the security. You know, for our NAS, we have three kind of account. One is administrator group. This account can have the highest privilege to do everything, including access the sensitive data. And we have user group. The user can rewrite the data with the permission of the administrator, but have almost none privilege for administrative tasks. And we have the third kind is guest. Usually we block it because it doesn't need any credential to log in. So it comes to a problem with this scenario. If we have only one administrator, everything we want to do will request for the same person. For example, we want to update the firmware, or we want to install a new app, or we want to create a user, we want to set share folder permission. Everything we request the same person. It will cause the heavy workloads of the administrator, and also maybe cause the poor responsiveness. On the other hand, if for different tasks, we create another account of administrator group account. Yes, different person can complete the different task. However, such kind of arrangement, because every administrator have the highest privilege, it's difficult to manage who can rewrite the sensitive data. For example, if we try to fix a light in our garage, we won't give out the key of the whole house to him, or even give out the code combination of the safe just to fix that. It's ridiculous. Instead, we just give the key of the garage. That's enough for him to fix the light. That's the main concept, the least privilege. And we introduced A roles to delegate to the common user group. Before, they don't have any administrative privilege. Now we gave them enough privilege for the specific role, so that we can control the data security, prevent the improper leaking. The first role will be, my personal opinion, will be most convenient one, is the system management. Consider that administrator has the privilege to rewrite the sensitive data. However, if we only want to do some administrative task, we don't want them, for example, update the firmware. We don't want them to read the sensitive data. So here we can use this role to cover that scenario. John is an administrator. Then he delegates the role system management to the user group, IT staff. And for all users of IT staff now become a role of system management, then the administrator will give the will set the share folder permission of the user group IT staff as a deny access, so that for example, we have a share folder confidential, and we set the permission is denied to the IT staff. Then all IT staff cannot rewrite the share folder confidential. However, they can still do other administrative tasks, including all the other roles, because the system management is the highest privileged role, including the other delegated roles. That's the first important system management role. And the rest of the roles is actually breaking down to the different tasks, so that the least privilege can fit the specific role. Here, I'd like to introduce two kinds of role for backup. One is a backup management. The other is a backup operation. For backup management, the user can actually execute the other backup tasks which are created by the others. For scenario, for example, the director Eric, usually he owns the permission to create the backup task. Now he has business trip, and he liked to ask his colleague to back up his job. Then he delegates the role backup management to his colleague. And this colleague, Jin, he doesn't have rewrite access of Eric's share folder. However, he can execute the backup job of Eric's backup job. So this is a special kind of role to do the other's backup job. And the backup operation is focused on his own data. He cannot operate the other's backup job, but he can execute his own backup job and even restore one, because he owns his data access right. So this is specifically fit for departmental manager. For example, he has a new project and new data, new folder, and he knows who needs to, which kind of which part of data need to be backed up, and don't need to bother the administrator. So let's see the difference again. For backup management, it's a role for a position to monitor overall backup routines, so that because this role can access the other backup job. And for backup operation, it focuses on the data. He cannot operate the other's backup job. That's the main difference. Now, it's a role for user and group management. It creates or deletes local accounts for individual users or groups. Usually, NAS storage is about the user account and the shared folder permission. So combine this role and shared folder management will achieve many basic functions and routines. For example, for HR staff, for onboarding process, he can create the user for the newbies and to assign this user to the appropriate shared folders. So don't need to wait the IT administrator to complete this job. On the other hand, this one is for shared folder. It can manage the shared folder for grant access right to user or groups. So for example, if a marketing department manager is assigned with this role, because he has a new job, a new project, then he can create a new shared folder without administrator account, and he can decide who can access it, or he can remove the one who is not in the project anymore. Application management is trivial. This role can install, update, manage apps in the App Center, but the user cannot install the application with the manual installation, because all of the installation need to be downloaded or updated from the App Center for security reason. Access management control the access in the control panel security section and the Q firewall. So for this access, there will be more IT staff can involve how to handle the critical event so that we don't need to wait a specific person to access the firewall or the block specific connection. System monitoring is simple. It will reveal the resource monitor in the NAS and to check the basic status of NAS without any right if the administrator doesn't approve any data access to this user. So, for example, the third-party maintainer, he wants to see the network status or the NAS status. He can be assigned to this role. Then he will be able to see the statistics or condition without any other privileges. We can enable the delegated administration in control panel. And you just select the roles and select the user or group and enable it. That's it. The next topic is about predictive migration. This is not new because for previous versions, we already have predictive migration, but it's only for smart. Now we have more options for you to choose to decide in what condition we will need to do the predictive migration. Why do we need the predictive migration? Because along with the drive size, the drive size grows bigger and bigger. For 10 terabytes, if it fails, it might require 1 week to do the RAID rebuild, and it will create a downtime. The service might down when the RAID is rebuilding. And on the other hand, before the drive fail, if the system consider the drive is risky, before the previous version, we have a smart check the drive original metadata. And to show the warning, it started to migrate from the spare drive, from the risky drive to the spare drive, and then let the spare drive join the RAID, and the risky drive becomes the spare drive. That's the previous mechanism. But now we have more options. Besides smart, we have WDDA, which is a Western Digital hard drive brand. They have their own health tool, and the IHM health tool is for Seagate hard drive. And the DA, using DA drive analyzer, is an AI subscription service to predict risky drive. And SSD estimated remaining life. We can choose a threshold to enable the migration. The migration will be much faster than rebuild, because a rebuild requires a CPU calculation, and copy is just trivial. So the drive, the risky drive, the data of a risky drive can be migrated to the spare drive. But we just need to note that the risk drive will become spare drive now. We should make a plan to replace it. Otherwise, if there is another risk drive, it will consider this spare drive to switch. From predictive migration, I mentioned about there are several tools to check the drive health. One of them is the drive analyzer. Consider a drive have a annual failure rate or 1% or 2%, and the A-base device might encounter a risky drive. The possibility will be 8% to 16% every year, which is quite high. And along with the growth of the drive size, RAID rebuild and the service downtime can be weeks because it needs to calculate all the data from the rest healthy data. So to prevent such downtime, if we can find out the risky drive and replace it, then we don't need to wait that long. As we mentioned, we have a different tool. Usually we use smart as a general approach. However, studies shows that drive may fail without any smart warning. I remember that from a Google research, is 36% of market drives will fail without any smart warning. So to prevent such condition, if we consider our data is very valuable and we don't want to see this kind of loss, industrial experts, U-Link technology, they are the expert of the drive testing platform. They applied the machine learning on now almost 1.8 million drives and provide a drive health prediction so that it can message and alarm you that your drive has a risk. Then you can plan in advance to replace in time. Along with QTS 5.1.0, the NAS app, the drive analyzer QPKG 1.1.0, it integrates with storage and snapshot. It integrates with predictive migration and improve the UI. And like to mention that because of the AI mechanism, it requires at least 14 days from the last 20 days. 14 days of data from the last 20 days so that it can predict the following drive health. So we need to know if the daily upload is successful. From this version, you will see a graphical user interface to see every day's uploading so that you can adjust, clarify the problem if you don't see the prediction. On the other hand, there are portal and Windows and Mac app to monitor multiple NAS system. It's suitable for the administrator who is in charge of a lot of NAS system. It will be more convenient. Especially, although this is a subscriptive service, every app will have one slot monitoring for free. So you can just have a trial and keep it there to monitor at least one drive. Is nice to have. And the portal itself is a cloud service, so it will improve independent from QTS. Here, for this time, it will have a new feature of radar chart. So you have another tool to decide if the drive needs to be replaced or not. Daily glance and action in time. That's the goal we want to achieve for centralized system monitor. Currently, QTS, along with QTS 5.1.0, we present the AMIZ Cloud. AMIZ Cloud is not actually new. It's already adopted by the QNAP virtualization network service equipment called the QCPE. But from 5.1.0, we applied on the NAS also. It's one portal, multiple systems, and organized through the organization center. It has dashboard and alerts, and also you can, from the cloud, you can do the management of the NAS app and also firmware update, etc. It's different from my QNAP Cloud. You can see from the chart, before my QNAP Cloud is only related to the NAS with the same QID. But for the AMIZ Cloud, through the organization center, it can categorize the device from the different QID and to be monitored from the AMIZ Cloud. It will be initialized from the my QNAP Cloud app, which we will demonstrate later. It will show, it has different features. For dashboard, you have one glance, and you can be aware if there is any problem of the NAS. From dashboard, I can find anything suspicious, then we can dig into the different NAS to see the detail. It has a different statistics to review the NAS condition. And we can set up the alarm rule so that the if the threshold triggered the alarm, it will go through the different method to notify the administrator. From the cloud, it can actually manage the app in the NAS. You can update or stop or start or remove the app from the cloud. And also for the NAS firmware, it can update from cloud, but also it can shut down or restart the NAS. But for this action, it requires two-factor authentication to protect the security. We can reach AMIZ Cloud through amizcloud.qnap.com, and let's log in the QID. And from QID, it relates to different organizations already have. The default organization is my organization. currently it doesn't have any NAS for the default organization, but I have other organization already. The organization is created in organization center, and I have 2 extra organization already set up, and I have one NAS here, and from the dashboard it seems all right, and in the NAS I have the different statistics, for example, like resource, okay, and this summary for general information, general hardware, network, storage, and performance. Okay, for the NAS detail, we can see that here. Alerts, we can set up different rule, create alert policy. Here I have a policy that if the usage is greater than 80%, it will show the warning, and the 90% it will show the arrow, and the duration is every 5 minutes. And well, AMIZ Cloud join keys is the binding method for QCP equipment, so it's not related to NAS here. But for security, it's actually present the status from the app in the NAS, the security counselor app. So for this NAS, the security counselor suggests the medium risk, so that we can we discover this situation, then we can go to the NAS, go to the node, and from here we can link to the NAS itself through the My QNAP Cloud link. This My QNAP Cloud link is connected to that NAS. And because I already log in, so it automatically jump to the desktop. Then let's see the security counselor, why it is suggest medium risk. Then we can see overview here, then we can see report and handle the situation. So actually from AMIZ Cloud, we can see if there's any situation, and either it's health related or security related, we can manage it from the AMIZ Cloud. Okay, then let me demonstrate how to join a NAS into the AMIZ Cloud. In this NAS, we have my QNAP Cloud icon. We open it and fill in the sign with the QID. We name this NAS. And here, there's a switch for join an organization. And this is the switch to enable the join of AMIZ Cloud. If we don't do that and click next, it will join my QNAP Cloud instead of AMIZ Cloud, because the AMIZ Cloud requires the organization center to categorize the NAS. So here it requests you to join an organization, select organization. If we don't have other organization, the default organization is my organization. Let's just use the default one. And the site is what I set up in the organization center. So if the default one should be my site, and the next one. it will install an app called the AMIZ Cloud Agent. This agent will collect the system information so that it can present the system detail for you to analyze the problem. My QNAP Cloud link has to be enabled so that you can access from the AMIZ Cloud. So my QNAP Cloud app, it will start connecting my QNAP Cloud link and install AMIZ Cloud Agent. When these two become green, then we can manage this NAS from the AMIZ Cloud. Now both are turned green. Then we can check the AMIZ Cloud. It's AMIZ Cloud. Let's switch back to the organization where the NAS is joined. Now we have a NAS, and we see a quotient sign. Then we know that the NAS has some problem because it revealed from the dashboard. And of course, we can from the NAS list, and we can see the warning. And then, because this reveal the status of the resource monitor, so we can directly link to the NAS to see what happened. You can see the dashboard. We see there's a warning, and the warning means that the SSD drive has some problem with the hard drive disk health. So we can handle that thereafter. So that from the AMIZ Cloud, we will see if there are any NAS that have some problem, how many of them have problem, and we can directly link through the nodes here and to handle this issue and to manage all the system. That's the demonstration of the AMIZ Cloud. A handy improvement on File Station. There are two features. On the latest File Station, we will see the recent file, including recently uploaded, recently opened, and recently deleted. Just remember that to enable this feature, the home folder needs to be enabled so that each account can see his own recently content. And the other will be the search function combined with the files combined with the QSearch for text search integration. We can just see the demo. Here we see the File Station icon. Let's open it. And here, because this NAS doesn't have many content, so I don't have the recently uploaded or recently deleted content. But I think this feature is trivial. On the other hand, I'd like to demonstrate the QSearch feature. I already installed the QSearch application, and the QSearch is for the full text search, and with a different format and type, and it can index the picture with strings also. Before we can for sure to search those content in the app, but now we can search it just from the File Station. And just remember, in the search bar, the switch to enable the content search need to be enabled. I turn it on so that we can search the keyword or type or location modified data size with different filters. I don't have too many files here, but I like to demonstrate the capability of QSearch that can search the strings within the image. Here I have a list of the PNG file, and I will search a keyword. For example, I will key replace here, and it respond with the search result of 4 files, and these are the image file. Then let's see the content of the image to understand why it has it is in the search result, because in the screen, this is actually a screenshot of the UI, and it contains the string of replace. That's why when I search replace, it responds with this kind of the image files. These are the very handy tool for the file station. Besides file station, we have another handy user interface. It's very convenient for the administrator. For NFS connection, we know that it's automatically dynamically assigned available ports to use. It's very convenient so that we don't really need to specify the ports for NF service. However, this causes a problem if we have a firewall, because the firewall needs to configure the specific ports to decide the access. So although we configure the specific ports for the NFS, but if the NF service has shut down or restarted or whatever condition, it initiated to configure the next accessible port, and then it will not comply the rule of the firewall, so that the administrator need to reconfigure the firewall, which is kind of troublesome. Now, for QTS 5.1.0, we can fix the static port for the NFS service from the UI. As you can see from the control panel, then you don't need to guess the next port because it will dynamically auto-assign the port. On the other hand, we can fix the static ports here, so you can configure your firewall accordingly. We know AI is a hot topic right now. Every day we heard about the machine learning, and for QNAP NAS, now we support more AI acceleration solution, which is Hailo-8. Hailo-8 M.2P plus M key. This is the AI accelerator. It has 26 TOPS, trillion operations per second. This is indicator for the AI operation speed. Now with this kind of support, AI acceleration support, we can improve the experience of the QVR human or QMAG, and later more AI-related application. We can improve the AI speed from the QTS 5.1.0. I have introduced many features surrounding 2 topics, efficiency and security. Actually, for QTS 5.1.0, there are more improvements. We can take a look in the release notes. And furthermore, I recommend you to download the QTS 5.1.0 beta to try by yourself. You will know how good it is. Thank you for your time.